Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. This session is a continuation of the previous session where I explained the part 1 of the HTML basics. Now, in this session, I'm going to cover the part 2 of the HTML basics, that is editors. So, for you to write and practice HTML code, or for you to write and practice the basics of HTML, we need to have some editors. We need to use some editors. So when you talk about editors, by default in your Windows operating system, without you install any external software, if you search for Notepad, you will get this software. This software, you don't have to install, guys. You don't have to install this Notepad software in your Windows machine. This comes by default. Okay. Now select that. It will launch the Notepad software. This will launch the Notepad software. You see, Notepad software has been launched. Now here you can write the HTML code. Now here you can write the HTML code. Just for sample I am saying, guys, okay? This is how you can write and practice the HTML code. But this particular editor, which is a default editor in the Windows machine, is a Notepad editor, is a very basic editor, guys. I don't recommend you guys to learn here, okay? Though it is possible for you to write the HTML code, run the HTML code using this editor, very basic editor. I would like to go with a better editor, okay? Instead of going with this default editor, right? I would like to go with a better editor. For that, you can use, or I recommend one editor known as Notepad++. Instead of Notepad, which is coming by default in your Windows machine, I would like to recommend Notepad++ editor. So how to get the Notepad++ editor? Notepad++ editor will not come by default in your Windows machine. You have to install it. So for that, just type download space Notepad++. Okay, these two words you have to type. You see, I don't like the default editor which is there in my Windows machine, which is coming along with the Windows machine, that is Notepad editor. I don't like this particular editor. I don't prefer because it doesn't have required features which will help me in writing the HTML code or running the HTML code in a better way. So for practicing this HTML code, even though Notepad editor is enough, but I don't recommend that. Rather, I'm recommending you to use this Notepad++ editor. So select this link and you'll be taken to the downloads page of Notepad++. And here, the stable latest version will be there here. You see on the top, just click on that link. In a while, this Notepad++ editor will start downloading in your machine. Okay. So you are taken to another page. Again, I'm going to click on the download button. Now download started. You see, download started and also got completed, guys. Go there, double click on this and install this. Okay. This is a exe file which got download. Now I got a user access control dialog. I'm just selecting yes. And once I selected yes, guys, here I got the installation wizard. Just say okay. Don't change any option. Just keep on clicking next. I agree. This is the location where the Notepad++ software will be installed in your machine. Just keep on clicking next. Don't change any option. Click on clicking next, and finally install option came and I just selected install, and it's currently installing. Now completing Notepad++ some so and so latest version setup has been installed. Its installation is completed, guys. Click finish to setup to close setup. And here you see by default this option is in selected state, so it will automatically launch the Notepad++ software. I would like to uncheck it and click on finish. So installation, downloading and installing of this Notepad++ software is done in my Windows machine. So earlier by default only Notepad software was there, right? Now I got Notepad++ software also by installing it in my machine. So whenever I want to launch this Notepad++, just type Notepad, guys, Notepad or Notepad++, you search and you'll get this app, okay? Or you can also search the entire Notepad++, you'll get this best app. Select that. Okay, select that, guys. Just give me a second from where it is loading all this stuff. Okay, so when you launch like this for the first time after installing the Notepad++, if you launch this Notepad++ for the first time, it will launch like this, guys. And you see, definitely if you compare this Notepad++ software with the normal Notepad software, right, you can clearly see the difference, right? You can clearly see the difference. Which one is better? You see, this has a lot of options. You see, the Notepad doesn't have only file menu is there, edit menu is there, view menu is there. Only these three menus are there. But if you go to this editor, right, file menu, edit menu, search menu, view menu, encoding, language, settings, tools, macros, run, plugins, window, and lot of shortcut options are also there here. You see, lot of options are there. Not only that, guys, when you are writing the HTML code also, it's going to be better. Okay. So I'll show you what's the difference and all. I know that I didn't cover any HTML. Okay. I didn't explain about HTML so far. But what I will do here is I would like to take one sample HTML from some sample HTML code from the Google. Okay. Sample HTML code to begin with. Okay. Like this, if I search, I'll get some sample code, guys, or I can select the AI mode. Okay. These days in Google, you are getting the AI mode. You see some HTML code came, right? Without thinking much, I will copy paste. I'll copy this HTML code. I'll copy this HTML code. You see, you don't have to learn HTML to copy this code, right? I'm going to explain anyhow how to write the HTML code. But for now, you just copy the HTML code and paste into this normal Notepad editor. And now save this file, save as, and save this, guys. Go to the downloads and somewhere here, just save this as one dot. Extension should be HTML, guys. Okay, dot HTML, one dot HTML, and here all files, and click on save. The moment you click on save, do you see any difference in the editor? The code looks very simple, same, right? The code looks as it is same. But what if I use Notepad++ editor? What is the benefit here is copy this, and go to the instead of Notepad. After saving also, before saving and after saving, the code looks same, right? But if I go to the Notepad++, before saving, the code looks like this. You see, the code looks something like this. If you want to increase or decrease the font, you can press and hold the Control key and move your mouse wheel up and down. It will increase and decrease. Okay. So whatever the size you are comfortable, that you can stick with. Control key, click and hold the Control key and use the wheel on your mouse to resize it. Okay. Now say file, save as, and save this. I'll just name this. I'll go to the one location in my machine and simply name this as 2.html, 2.html, and I'll just simply say all types. Here extension should be .html, guys, all types, and save. The moment I save this, can you see the difference, guys? Which one looks better? Notepad++ looks better, or Notepad? You see it's black and white, but here in Notepad++, you see proper coloring is there. You can minimize it, maximize it, you collapse it, expand it. Okay, different section of the HTML page. This kind of extra options will be there in the Notepad++. But Notepad++ is not the ultimate advanced editor, guys. Okay, somewhere it is there in between. Okay, neither it is too much advanced nor it is basic type of editor. It's a advanced but not that advanced. Okay, we have other advanced editors in the market where some other advanced editors are there in the market where you can even practice HTML. But you know, but I personally prefer Notepad++ when you are learning HTML, right? I personally prefer Notepad++. Anyhow, okay, you can clearly see the advantages of the Notepad++ over Notepad, right? But if I go for an even more advanced editor, you will see even more better options or features. Okay, this is the power of the editors, guys. A lot of editors are there in the market where you can practice HTML. Okay, and in that you can use the basic editor. If you don't want to install any external software, you can go with the basic Notepad editor. There's no harm in practicing Notepad, guys, but some kind of comfort I'm getting in Notepad++. So why should I stay with the Notepad if I have an option to move to an advanced editor like Notepad++, and it's not that much complex or not that much advanced editor. So it's a reasonably good editor where you can start practicing the HTML. But in real time, will the developers will use this kind of Notepad++ editor to write the HTML code? The answer is no. In real time, the developers will not write the HTML code in this kind of Notepad++. This is only for practice purpose, guys. This editor Notepad++ is for practice purpose. And also I prefer using this kind of editor when I'm explaining about the HTML code in my sessions. Okay. So that's another reason. So what is the other advanced editor? Which one is generally preferred over Notepad++ by the developers for writing the HTML code? That is Visual Studio Code. The next advanced editor we can actually go is Visual Studio Code. So whether you want to go with the basic Notepad editor or Notepad++ editor or Visual Studio Code, it's up to you, guys. After I cover this session, it's up to you. But for teaching purpose in the upcoming sessions and all, to teach this HTML code and all, I'm going to use a I'm going to use a Notepad++ editor only, guys. So, but just to showcase that what editors are available and all, it's upon your choice, like what editor you want to use and all. I'm covering one more editor, guys, that is Visual Studio Code editor, which I'm not using, which I'm not going to prefer right now for explaining the HTML code in my sessions. Okay. So here simply write download space Visual download space Visual Studio Code. Okay, download space Visual Studio Code and click on this link, guys. Click on this link. Once I click on this link, guys, Visual Studio Code, download this and download Visual Studio Code option will come in this. Windows will come, Linux will come, Mac will come. Just click on the Windows, guys. Just click on the Windows. Once I click on the Windows, guys, once I click on the Windows. So here there is a thanks for downloading Visual Studio Code. Here already download started, guys. Okay. So let's wait for the download of this exe file of this Visual Studio Code complete. And now using the exe file, I'm going to install the Visual Studio Code editor in my machine. Okay, which is even more advanced than this Notepad++. While the Notepad++ is advanced than the normal Notepad editor, which is coming by default with Windows. Now the whatever the editor I'm going to download and install, this editor is even more advanced, way more advanced than this Notepad++, and is actually used in real time by the actual developers of the okay, who are actually creating these web pages and all that. They actually use this kind of editor, not the Notepad++. But for you to learn and practice HTML code, Notepad++ is enough, guys. Okay, not neither less nor more. Okay, this is a kind of editor. Okay, without complex features and all, and with the required advanced features, this is more than enough. Okay, for practicing and learning. But later, when you want to become a serious HTML developer and all, then you can go with the Visual Studio Code. But for now, guys, we are learning the basics of HTML. We don't have to fight for the editors. Okay. So whatever the editor you like, you choose, guys. I'm going to cover 3 editors for you. Whatever the editor you feel comfortable, you choose it. Okay. I'm going to show all the 3 editors now. Third editor I'm going to show you. Let's see whether the download completed or not. Yes, download completed. Go to the location where it got downloaded. Double click on this exe file, guys. In a while, the Visual Studio Code will get okay, this installation wizard came. Installation wizard of this Visual Studio Code came. I accept the agreement. Click on next. Go with the default options. It will be installed in this machine. Here, keep clicking next without changing any option. Click on install here. Now finally, the Visual Studio Code editor is getting installed in my. After downloading, it's getting installed in my machine. It's a way more advanced editor, guys. In this editor, you know, lot of things you can practice, not just HTML. Like you can practice JavaScript, HTML, CSS, anything you can practice in this editor, guys. Way more advanced actually. But okay, for in these sessions as part of this course to cover the basics of HTML, okay, I'll be using this Notepad++ editor, which I'm comfortable with. Okay, for now. But later, for advanced things and all, you can actually go with the Visual Studio Code editor. Up to you guys. Wherever you want to practice, you can practice. Meanwhile, anyhow, the installation is getting completed. Here, if you want to launch, you can launch, or if you don't want to launch immediately, just uncheck this and click on finish. And whenever you want to launch, here you can type Visual Studio Code, okay? And you'll get this editor. Just select that. The Visual Studio Code editor will get launched, guys. Once it gets launched here, you got a welcome screen and release notes came. Close them, guys. Now click on this Explorer. Some sample is there, okay? So its previous project is coming. That's okay. What you can do here is, just give me a second, guys. Just give me a second. Okay, so it's already there. Previous thing is coming actually. Okay, let me go to the location where it is available. Okay, we'll do one thing. So one project is already there. That's the reason. Let me close this and try this again. No, okay. Now let me launch. Okay. You see in your machine after, because if you have not used Visual Studio Code editor earlier, if you launch it for the first time, you will get something like this. Okay. If you launch it for the first time, you'll get with the welcome screen. Close this and go here. You'll find this kind of functionality. Okay. If you are launching it for the first time. Now what you have to do here is open folder. You have to select the open folder. Now in your computer machine, you select, you create one folder, guys. Wherever you want to practice or something, just go here and create one folder. Just create one folder, HTML demo, or just give some folder name. Okay, select. Okay, now you see this one came. Just close all this stuff, and here under this particular folder in this, you see that's why I told you, right? you don't have to go with this kind of advanced editor. If you go with this kind of advanced editor, you have to create a folder, under the folder, you have to create the files and all those stuff. You have to extra things you have to. Just simply go with the visual Notepad++, which is far more than enough, right, at this point of time for you to practice the basics of HTML. Okay, you don't want to become an advanced HTML developer here, right? You're not aiming for that, but still up to you guys, which editor you want to choose, up to you. Whether you want to go with the, don't want to install any software and go with the default Notepad editor for practicing the HTML code, or you want to go with the better Notepad++ editor, which you can be comfortable instead of getting confused with this kind of advanced options in the Visual Studio Code editor. Or okay, you can say that I'm very comfortable with the Visual Studio Code. I would like to practice HTML code here means, then this is also fine. Okay, despite of the complex nature here, if you still want to practice, then it's fine here. You can still use a Visual Studio Code editor also. So here I'm going to create a new file. I'll just name this file as a demo.html file. And here I need to write the HTML code. So whatever the HTML code I copied from the Google, right? The same HTML code I'm going to paste here. Just copy this. You can see the difference, guys, how these editors are different. Now if I paste this code, you see, this is how the editor looks like. Okay, it's very neat and clean, like normal general advanced editors in the market, right? So this is the editor. So any which editor you want to use, you can use, guys. Okay, up to you. Okay, which editor you want to use, you can use. That's up to you. So for writing the HTML code, you can use. You can prefer any of these editors. So hope, guys, you got an idea about the editors. Okay. So here I'll just write different editors that you can choose for practicing the basics of HTML. Okay, editors. Either you can go with the Notepad editor, which is coming by default with Windows, or you can go with Notepad++, or you can go with the Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code editor also you can choose. Okay, these are the three different editors you can choose. Save this. Okay, now recommended editor for Notepad++. Okay, recommended, what is that editor I'm recommending out of these three editors? Notepad++ I am recommending for you to practice HTML as part of this course and session, guys. Okay, but up to you, guys. Still, it's flexible for you to take a call of which editor you want to go with. I showed you how to download and install the Notepad editor, okay, in this session. So that's all for this session, guys. This is a part 2 of this basics of HTML. Since we are good with what is HTML and what are the different editors we can choose for practicing the HTML. Now, in the next session, we are going to get started with the HTML, okay? We are going to start learning actual HTML from the next part, because in these editors, okay, in whatever the selected editor, you can start from here, okay? Start practicing the HTML in this one of these editors. So that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye.